Hello and welcome to Clearview News Desk. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. I am Imefon elder statesman and the national leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum. Edwin Clark says the disposition of Kogi State Governor Ahmed Ododo showed that his predecessor Yahaya Bello was still in power. The elder statesman made this known while appearing on a sister TV station in Abuja. Clark noted that the government of the former governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State was rough and marred with corruption and killings. He explained that Bello was just being stubborn after having run a rough government in the state. According to Clark, Yahaya Bello has been living very rough, having a very rough government, corruption and killing of people during elections. The Pan-Niger Delta Forum asked Bello to surrender himself to the authorities. Similarly, the senator representing Edo North Senatorial District and former governor of Edo State, Oshiomhole, has also condemned the actions of the governor of Kogi State, Usman Ododo, for his interference in the legal squabble between his predecessor, Yahaya Bello, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The senator spoke at the National Integration Conference organized by the Kuka Center, urging citizens to speak up against breaches of the law irrespective of who is involved. Recall that Yahaya Bello has been speaking from a hideout since he was invited by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, over allegations of financial scandal. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and socialite Pascal Okochukwu, popularly known as Cubana Chief Priest, have, in a court proceeding on Thursday, May 2, 2024, agreed to out-of-court settlement over the charge of Naira mutilation. Recall that the EFCC had on April 12, 2024, filed a 3-count charge against Pascal over Naira abuse. He was arraigned following at the Federal High Court in Lagos, which he pleaded not guilty and thereafter was granted bail of 10 million naira with 2 sureties. Our correspondent, who sought the opinion of a renowned lawyer on the pros and cons of out-of-court settlement, brings us details.
In the highly publicized case involving the EFCC and nightlife entrepreneur, the Cubana Chief Priest, over the Naira mutilation, both parties have ultimately reached an out-of-court settlement. But what does this mean for the accused and for the society at large? This case highlights the rising trend of out-of-court settlements in Nigeria. But what are the pros and cons of bypassing the traditional legal process? We spoke with Barrister Kayode in a voice call interview on the pros and cons of out-of-court settlement.
It involves civil matters. But when it comes to criminal matters, it's plea bargaining. So you guys are going to, when it's criminal matters, you are plea bargaining with the federal government or whoever is prosecuting you. It could be Commissioner of Police or it could be Federal Republic of Nigeria, whatever the case may be, or whoever is prosecuting you. It's going to be a plea bargaining. And at then itself, the court has its own jurisdiction. You can't rob the court out of its own jurisdiction. You cannot take the powers out of the court. The court will use its own powers and its discretion to handle the matter in the way it feels like. But you will not rob the court of its own discretion to act on the matter. So the law, there might be a prescribed law for him to do, but then he still has his own discretion to act on. So he will use his discretion as appropriately. Yeah. Everyone can do out-of-court settlement. Court is always open to settlement. Like if it's a civil matter, they have pre-counseling, what's it called? You have to counsel your client before you prepare the client for a case. That's for civil matter. So the same way you have to advise your client appropriately before you even engage in litigation or civil battle, criminal litigation or civil litigation, whatever the case may be. But then you have to advise your client that these are the pros and cons. So it's not left for all of you to say, okay, this is the way we follow. And if we agree, it's fine. That's why there's for criminal For civil matters, there's pre-counseling form that you sign at UK. You counsel your client appropriately and whatever. It's even part of the rules of professional conduct.
Mm.
The defense headquarters says it has concluded its investigations on the bombing of innocent citizens in Tudunbiri village in Ikabi local government area of Kaduna State last December. Addressing defense correspondents during a bi-weekly media briefing in Abuja on Thursday, Director of Defense Media Operation Major General Edward Buba said two personnel of the Nigerian Army were indicted in the unfortunate incident and will face court-martial.
The military has conducted a painstaking investigation into the Tudunbiri incident that occurred in Kaduna State and has initiated disciplinary action against those that we found culpable. Accordingly, the affected personnel are to face a court-martial for acts of omission or commission with respect to the Tudunbiri incident. However, it must be made clear that the incident was a mistake and the victims of the strike were mistaken for terrorists. On this note, on behalf of the Chief of Defense Staff, General C.J. Musa, officers and personnel of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, our condolences goes out to the families and the loved ones of all those killed in that very sad strike. It is hoped that there will be no more repeat of strikes on non-combatants in our ongoing operations across the country.
Recall that a drone strike on Sunday, December 3rd, 2023, meant for terrorists resulted in dozens of deaths and injuries to residents of Turumbiri, Okara, and Sabonkida after they converged at Tudumbiri to celebrate the Mulud. The Nigerian army, which claimed responsibility for the death, attributed the incident to a mistake and assured all the victims and their families of adequate compensations. The Anambra State Disability Rights Commission has called on the aviation sector in Nigeria to end discrimination against persons with disabilities and ensure inclusive practices in air travel operations. Chairman of the commission, Barrister Chuks Ezekwusi, made the call while speaking to journalists, recounting his personal experience of being restricted by some airlines due to his disability. Ezekwusi emphasized that the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities requires parties to take measures to ensure equal access to transportation, including air travel, for persons with disabilities.
The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria gives freedom of movement to everyone, including persons with disabilities. But for the airline, some of them, it appears those rights can only be enjoyed if you are not a person with disabilities. Mine was just an example. Exactly 3 years yesterday, 1st May 2021, I was denied boarding on Ebon Air on my way returning to Enugu. And I could not return to Enugu on Ebon Air that brought me to Abuja for no other reason other than he's a person with disabilities. He's blind. This is in violation of Section 42 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in violation of Section 1 of Federal Act 2019, prohibiting discrimination against persons with disabilities, in violation of IATA resolution of 2019 that said every effort needs to be made to accommodate persons with disabilities, to ensure that they travel on equal basis, that they have equal access to air travel? Was it that Ibn Air did not know that these laws exist and the resolution of the IATA existed? And I want to use this opportunity to call on the Federal Minister of Aviation, Mr. Festus Keyamo, and as he recently stated, that his job is to make the regulators do their job. I therefore call on him right now to make the Nigerian regulators do their job, to rein in on the domestic airline, to ensure that they implement the rules of IATA, that they abide by the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in ensuring that persons with disabilities have equal access to air travel.
The existing regulations are fragmented and mainly focused on eliminating complaints in national jurisdictions rather than promoting accessible and universal air transport globally. The Commission urged the aviation sector to update its policies and meet international standards set by the International Air Transport Authority to ensure inclusive practices and end discrimination against persons with disabilities. You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Clearview News Desk, or via handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Clearview Online.